I'm sitting here with Sacha Gorelik of the Sour Patch. Welcome, Sacha.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to finally meet you after following you on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, before we get into what the Sour Patch is, tell us, how long have you been living in Israel?
So my family moved here in 2005, and that was from England, so 11 years ago. And I was 14 years old at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was an interesting age to come. And this was before Nefesh B'Nefesh was working in England. So my family had to really navigate things on their own. And so we came to an absorption center in Jerusalem, which was definitely an experience. We were told that it would be, a good place for family to integrate and go to Ulpan and things like that. But it turned out that it was more for, I'd say, there was a lot of Russians and Ethiopians, and we were put in this 2-room apartment. And there was cockroaches running around.
Oh no!
It was really bad.
So thank God Nefesh B'Nefesh came.
So thank God, yeah. So we kind of ran away from the absorption center, and we ended up in Ramat Beit Shemesh. So my family's been living there since then.
Wow! And after that, you acclimated.
And after that, it was definitely a challenge to find the right schools to go to, because things are different here culturally and also religiously. Mm-hmm. So my parents, they thought that perhaps sending me and my sister to a Beis Yaakov, she was 13, I was 14, would be the most similar to what we were in England. Because, uniforms, blue shirts, blue skirts, it must be the same thing, right? But once we got into the Beis Yaakov here, it was completely different world, different, story. So that didn't really work out, and we switched schools a bunch of times. I ended up doing my high school exams on my own. I studied on my own for the Bagriyot, which was difficult. And but thank God, I'm so happy that I'm here now, and all my siblings are still here. Everyone lives in Israel, and we're all from, which is something my parents were told, don't come with teenagers because your kids are going to go off the derech and it's going to be too difficult. But thank God, everybody is.
So you made it through the challenges, and everyone's successful.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So hopefully your success will convince other people to come to try.
You need to be resilient.
And have patience.
And patience, yes.
Okay, so, and then you got married.
And then I got married, to an American, Yechazkel. He's Gorelik. His family is from New Jersey.
Oh,
so a lot of people know him.
Wow.
And so basically, so I got married. I went to college here. I did a BA in social sciences. And after I finished college, I decided that instead of doing a master's, I wanted to become an entrepreneur. And I came up with the idea for the Sour Patch, and I started my website. Yeah.
Amazing. So tell us, what is the Sour Patch?
Okay, so the Sour Patch is a website for Israeli artists and craftsmen and designers in Israel to sell anything that's basically handmade or designed by them, nothing mass-produced. And the reason I came up with the idea for the website is because I was online, I was looking at different Judaica websites and Israeli websites, and they all had the same generic products. You see over and over again the same Magen David, the same Judaica, and half the time this stuff is not even from Israel, it's made in China. So I was doing some research online, and I found there's all these Facebook groups and different communities of artists, and there's just thousands and thousands of people that are not getting the exposure that they need in order to support themselves. So I saw this need, and I decided, you know what, why not? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to create a website, a platform for them that's specifically for only Israeli handmade stuff.
Wow.
So that's the idea,
So
that's where it came from.
The artists are Israeli, they come from?
So a lot of the artists are actually Olim. Some of them come from, there's people from all over the world, actually Argentina, Holland, the US, England, really a huge mix of artists. There's also native Israelis on the site that live, all over the country, like Haifa and Zichron Yaakov we have artists, and from Tel Aviv we have artists, so all over the country, everyone, which is really cool. Okay,
and what is your background in? Is there an art background?
So I've always loved handmade things. I've always loved being creative, scrapbooking, all that kind of stuff at home. I never had the patience to really sit and make stuff that was sellable, I would say. But I have an appreciation for it. And I also started writing for this website, which is called The Culture Trip. And they're a huge website around the world, but they have people writing in Israel for them about different cultural and art events. So I was writing for them for a bit, and I got really into, that kind of scene. and which got me into writing also about the artists, because I didn't want the Sabra Patch to just be another online store. I wanted people to really connect with who the people are and their stories. So what I do is I write about them, I interview the artists that are on the website, and tell people where they come from, what their story is. So just an example, this was really like amazing. There was this woman that I saw on Facebook posting. She was an older lady. So I started talking to her, and it turns out she's a Holocaust survivor, and she paints, and she was trying to get her artwork, online, but like obviously she's old, so she doesn't really know. So I went to visit her in Tel Aviv, and she survived a camp in the Ukraine as a child, and she paints the most she's amazing. And it's to help her support herself, because her income is just not enough what she gets from the government. Wow. And she needs to get medical equipment and stuff like that. So that was really inspiring. So I wrote about her. Her name is Jenny Rosenstein. You could look her up on Facebook.
Sure, I'll link it.
And people go and visit her as well, like in Tel Aviv, and they could buy her paintings, which is really nice.
That's fantastic. So that's something very unique about the Sabra Patch.
Yeah, so that's what makes it really unique, is that it's not just promoting the bigger names of Israeli artists. Like there's no one that you would call famous that's on my website. The whole point is that it's for smaller artists that are really trying to get themselves out there. And another group of people we have is there's an organization in Beersheba where it's called Nashim Rokmot Chalom. It's for Ethiopian women, where they help them transition from just being inside the house to really supporting their family. So what they do is they make traditional handcrafted Ethiopian products, like embroidery and jewelry and things like that. And I got in contact with them, and so they have a lot of their products on my website as well, where you can buy and you'll be supporting Ethiopian women from Beersheba.
Wow! So that's one way that the audience can help.
So that's one way they can help. And
how else can they help?
Basically, at the moment, I've been going for just under a year. I started in January last year. Just under a year. Wow. And I've been doing everything solo. I invested my own money into doing this and starting the platform. But there's not a lack of artists, that's for sure. But I'd love if people could just tell their friends and go online and follow us on Facebook and sign up for our email addresses. So on Instagram, we're at the Sabra Patch. On Facebook, also the Sabra Patch. And just spread the word. Yes, share it with as many people as you can.
And the art that you showcase on your website, do you ship it around the world? How can people?
So you basically, it's pretty simple online shopping. You click buy, it goes into your shopping cart, and then you can ship it to most of the artists ship everywhere in the world. Most of the sales we've had so far come from the US, from Christians, from Jewish people, and we had one random sale from Czechoslovakia, so that was cool.
Wow, what did they buy?
They bought an alphabet placemat. It's kind of for kids, but it could also be for adults. It helps you learn Hebrew letters. So
fantastic! Yeah. For New Olim, that's
for New Olim, it's great. Yeah,
that's great. Okay, and you said that you moved to Beit Shemesh.
Yes,
that's a typical place. Pretty typical place for Olim.
For Olim, yeah.
What do you think makes it typical and a good place for Olim to move to?
So Ramat Beit Shemesh, that whole area, it's definitely what you'd call a soft landing, meaning that there's a lot of English speakers, so you don't have that culture shock per se of being thrown into Israeli society. You'll find a lot of friends that came from maybe where you came from, but that has its pluses and minuses. So it definitely took me, maybe my siblings, also longer to learn Hebrew, because you're not really forced to speak. You don't really need to, because you have so many English speakers there. So that's a kind of a downside. But otherwise, it's definitely it's a great area to live in if you're looking for something it's more of a mix now, compared to when we came. I think 11 years ago there was definitely more Americans. Now you'll find there's more Israelis, and it's more mixed, and the kids that came are more integrated. So.
Amazing. One more question about the Sabra Patch. Do you have, or are you looking to having a studio where some of this art can be showcased, or you want the people to just go to
mostly,
visit the artists?
I want people, the whole point is that it's online, so that if you're in Australia or in America or wherever you are, you can just connect and buy from the artists. Eventually, it would be very cool to have a studio where people could come and visit, or be at, let's say, Chutza HaYotzer, which is a huge art and craft fair that happens in Israel every summer, and showcase some of the artists from my site there. That would be cool. So, we'll see where it goes to.
So there's a big vision for
But my vision is that it should be the Etsy for Israel. That's what I would love, to have like thousands of artists online selling their stuff for people all around the world to discover that and support Israeli artists.
And to bring Israel into, showcase Israel. Wow.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, before we end off, first of all, it was like such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Continued success and hatzlacha in everything you're doing. I'm going to ask you, what is your Israel happy place?
Okay, my Israel happy place. That's a good question. I mean, this whole country is amazing. It really is. I think one of my best experiences as growing up in Israel, which is definitely like happy memories, was just being able to have that independence to go places. So, I mean, maybe my parents are a little crazy, but like they let us go and like do stuff. So we would go hiking up north. We took the bus down to Eilat when I was like 15.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I did Yam Liyam with friends when I was like 17 or 18, which is the 3-day hike from the Mediterranean to the Kinneret.
Amazing.
So I'd say my happy place is just being like outdoors, you know, experiencing the land. Like you have to, if you want to experience Israel, you need to get out and like hike and see it. And it's amazing because when you do these hikes, you're also walking through history. Like it's where like our ancestors were. It's where like Tanakh happened, and
Tanakh comes to life here.
And especially around the area of Beit Shemesh, you have a lot of stories from Tanakh, like Shimshon and David fought Goliath, like in one of the areas close to Beit Shemesh. So
it's another good reason for Olim, for people to move here and become Olim.
Yeah,
so they could experience.
You can experience the land and feel really connected to your heritage. Yeah,
amazing. Well, thank you so much, and
thanks for having me. Thank you.